I hate this song. Hate it. I've always hated it. One of my least favorite songs of all time. I hate this song. What's going on, everybody? This is Clark Beckham, season 14 runner-up of American Idol. We got 7, we end with 5. Let's go. If you like these videos and you like what I'm doing, it would really mean a lot to me. Help these videos do better in the search engine of YouTube. If you could like this video and subscribe if you really like what I'm doing. And if you really like what I'm doing, you can hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of these, because sometimes life happens and I don't post things exactly on time. And if you really like me, you can even join the Groove Crew by clicking the join button at the bottom right corner of this video. If you're on a computer, you'll see it, or you can go to my channel and click join. For $5 a month, you can get access to the instant reaction members only live stream that I do the moment I finish watching the episode. I come do this live stream, go through all of my notes very candidly, honestly no filter, and have a little discussion with those of you who are online for that. We've been getting more members recently and it's been a blast. First of all, Ryan, what are you wearing? Is it weird to anybody else? I know he's from Georgia and I feel like all of his family and hometown friends are probably very upset with him wearing a tiger tie with a purple suit repping LSU colors and mascot. I'm not a style guy, but it looked weird, right? First, we've got Chayce Bishop singing Paradise. Chris Martin is awesome. He's so cool. He's such a great mentor. This is definitely the best mentor of the season. This was a huge get for Idol. Loved how he treated Chayce and talked to her about this song is about you. The distorted guitars in the beginning, wasn't a fan of. Didn't think it really fit the song. Also thought the song might have been a little too fast. The beats per minute or the BPM, the tempo is just a little too quick. I think it's the original tempo, but for her, because she's such a singer, if they would have slowed down the tempo a little bit and given her more space and more room, more time to really sing, I think that would have helped her and she could have sung out a little bit better. But she did great. She did a wonderful job. One thing I've noticed about Chayce over the past episodes, I'm always a little hard on her. And then when I watch the premiere with you guys and hear her performance, I'm always like, why was I so hard on her? She sounds amazing. It's because she's the best singer on the show. And that's true. I don't know if I've said that outright, but she is the best singer on the show. And I think I just hold her to a really high standard. Chayce Beckham is next with Magic, one of my favorite Coldplay songs. Oh, so high. And they call it magic. And they call it true. Great song. He does a great arrangement. Does a really good job of it. The breakdown where it goes to like just bass and then the octave jumps was really sick. The octave jump means if he's singing here, I wanna fall so hard, then the jump an octave would be singing that same note but an octave higher. So I wanna fall so hard. He does it full chest voice, rockin', really cool. He did miss the pickup though, I think. The very beginning of the song where he begins to sing, I think he missed his entrance. Here's the bigger note, the fact that I'm saying I think, because I couldn't tell. He played it off so well that I couldn't really tell for sure. The only reason I think he missed it is because he started with singing Magic, I call it Magic, instead of the original lyric. The original lyric doesn't start with just Magic. There was a millisecond where his face looked like he just missed the intro and had a little bit of panic. So I think he did miss that, but good for him for going straight through. I guarantee nobody noticed except weirdos like me. That's how you screw up. That's how you mess up. You mess up, you just keep going like nothing happened. And like Lionel says later, the audience didn't come to rehearsal. They don't know what you're supposed to do. Willie Spence sings Yellow. I came along, I wrote a song for you, and all the things you do. And it was called in love. Chris tells him less is more. I'm thinking that's kind of Willie's thing, is more is more. More key changes, more hits, more chords, more arrangements, more notes. And it's kind of been the American Idol formula for him. And he still does a lot here, and it still does come across as the American Idol formula of soft here, big here, kind of going through those checklists. Personally, I didn't feel it that much. I didn't really feel it at all. And this is another performance where at the end, I'm mad at myself for not liking it. I'm thinking, why are you not going crazy over this? This was great. There's nothing wrong, but it just, I don't know, it just didn't do it for me. I did like the chord progression a lot in the verse. The original chords that I hear are C, G, F. Look at the stars, see how they shine for you, and everything you do, and it was called yellow. That's all you need. That's the big thing about Coldplay. They do simple stuff, and that's all they need, and they kill it. With Willie, he does that a little bit, but basically he keeps the bass note here the whole time over those chords, which changes the dynamics of the chords. It actually makes them sound like this. Look at the stars, see how they shine for you. Right there, it's so pretty. And everything you do, and it was called yellow. I just die over that. I think it's so pretty going from here to here. Woo. Next, we got Caleb Kennedy. He sings Violet Hill, a Coldplay song I've never heard of, but when I hear him sing it, I'm thinking, wow, this is perfect for him. This is a great song for him, and he's doing okay, and then he seems to mess up on the guitar, seems way too invested into the guitar, and when he does mess up, he totally falls apart. Not musically necessarily, but you can see it all over his face that he's really upset he messed up the guitar part. And here's the thing. I've said this before, but on the show, if you're a contestant and you're playing an instrument and the band's rocking out, what you're playing isn't necessarily super integral to the sound of the arrangement, then you're not really in the mix. Especially there's like 3 guitars, including his, and a lot of stuff going on. You're not even going to be there. You might be muted. And they won't tell you that, but it's just the truth. When he was messing up guitar, I had no idea because I couldn't hear. I could see him playing a couple chords and then him shake his head and kind of smile like he played the wrong one. I had no idea. I'm a guitar player. I love music and I pay attention, and I had no idea because he's not even in the mix really. But he let it get to him, and he really just emotionally fell apart during the song. Didn't give that Caleb Kennedy flair that we always get. In moments where there's really complicated guitar riffs and I'm singing and going and I can't hit the part straight enough for the sound, or I just can't sing and perform as well as I need to and hit the lick like I need to, I have actually just cranked down the volume knob on my guitar. Just muted myself and just kind of flailed along with it and acted like I was playing that lick with everybody else. I've done it, just gonna be honest with you. Or you just hit the chord right before and then break off while the band hits all the crazy runs and then come back in with the chords and make it a moment. The song of mine that I actually do that in is called Must Be Hard Being You. It's from my EP called Year One. It's also available wherever you listen to music, and it sounds like this. Really let this get to him when it really didn't have to, because it wasn't a big deal. A theme of today with a lot of the contestants was, how do you do when you mess up? Because I think Chayce messed up. Again, the key being I think. That's the whole point. That's how good he messed up, if he did, because I couldn't really tell. It seems Caleb messed up, and the reason I say it seems is because I could not tell except for his face and his body language. A lot of people messed up, and it's how did they do with it? How did they push through it, or did they? And Caleb did not. Lionel did pretty good today. Lionel did pretty good this episode. He was actually the best judge of the night, said some good stuff. He noted that Caleb's confidence dipped in the middle of the song, which is exactly what I was talking about. And he says, listen, the audience didn't come to rehearsal. They don't know what you're gonna do. They don't know what you're supposed to do. Just go for it. Arthur sings In My Place and totally changes the melody.
I was lost, cross lines I shouldn't have crossed. I was lost, oh yeah.
Chris Martin says something funny. He goes, I thought the best thing about this song was the melody, and that's what you're throwing out. And Arthur's like, yep. Again, just sticking to his guns, no pun intended. I don't mind it. I see a lot of comments and people saying that they don't like how he changes everything so much. I don't mind it at all. That's part of being an artist. That's part of being on the show, is changing songs to make it your style, as long as it works better for you than the original would have. And I think he did great here. The thing with Arthur is he's wildly consistent. He's always giving you an A or an A plus Arthur Gunn performance. He's never sliding down to a B or C. He's giving you the goods every single time. If you like what he does, you're never going to walk away disappointed. Also, I liked his off-mic singing, shouting things like, come on, everybody, let's go. Okay, here we go. I actually like that stuff. Made me feel comfortable. A lot of times when people do that, I think it's contrived and I don't really like it that much, but I felt it was totally natural when he did it. After every performance, if Chanley's on the couch watching it with me, I ask her, what do you think? And this time, one of the only times that we had very different views. I thought he did great. And she said that she can't understand him and everything sounds the same and wishes he wouldn't change everything. And that's what I see a lot in the comments, which is what we have to think about. Are we critiquing him a little harder because we don't think it's fair that he's there? Are we giving him an open chance? It's kind of like, I don't know if you ever knew someone who either did something to you or was super arrogant. You just didn't like the person. No matter what they did, how good it was, you just weren't impressed because you don't like the person. I think some people might not like the situation that he's in when they feel like he shouldn't be. And so they just can't give him a good comment. They just can't say like, wow, that was awesome, because they're bitter that he's there. I wonder if that plays into it. But for me, I thought he did great. Next, we got Grace singing Fix You.
When you try your best, but you don't succeed. When you get what you want, but not what you need.
Her soft is so beautiful. Her middle, soft, beautiful, gorgeous range is just that. It's beautiful and gorgeous. Chris pushed her hard on saying, hey, let's just do this. Let's chill out in this song. And I thought she showed so much restraint in a great way. One thing that was wrong, though, a couple people kept saying this, including her. She said, I feel like it's imperfect and I don't sound that good on it and I need to impress. You do need to impress, but the idea that you have to sing giant notes to impress is wrong. And the idea that it's imperfect when you do soft and sweet and not imperfect when you do big high notes. The reality is, the soft and sweet, I don't hear any flaws at all. And I do hear flaws when she goes big and high every time, unfortunately. Every single time she goes up, there has been a note that was off. So actually, if you want to talk about imperfections, the middle range and her soft, sweet part of her voice, she's flawless. That's where there's no imperfections. Lionel says something with a good heart, and I know what he meant, but I want to say he was wrong about it. He said, your flaws are your magic. What he's trying to say is that vulnerability of sweet, soft, middle range singing like you did in the beginning and most of the song, that's the magic. But he said your flaws. And I understand the idea of like, wow, your flaws are perfection. But usually when someone says to me, no, your flaws just made it better, that's usually flattery. And when someone's trying to make me feel better for cracking or missing a lyric or singing flat or messing up. And as an experienced and wonderful singer that she is, I hope she didn't take it that way. I hope she didn't hear Lionel say, your flaws are your magic, and think, oh, I messed up. But he's an idol judge, so he never says anything bad. So he's just fluffing me up, even though I messed up. Here's reality, and for once, I hope that Grace is watching, because I tell contestants, don't watch these videos. There were no flaws. That was the problem with what Lionel said. There were no flaws in that song when she was soft and sweet and vulnerable and in that middle range. There were none. So it's really that vulnerability is the magic. And she has got such great taste and tone, and the way she shapes her vowels and shapes the words and navigates the notes, kind of like Willie, is so world class. It's so good. I hope she stays there a little bit. You can still do the big belting notes, but give us that middle stuff. That's gorgeous. They announced that we've got Phineas next week for our mentor. That is a massive get. This is one of the best producers on the planet right now. One producer of the year. He is Billie Eilish's brother and produces and writes all of her stuff. They write it together. That's gonna be sweet. Hunter sings, does great.
When I'm cold, when I'm cold, there's a light that she gives me when I'm in shadow.
has a moment where he cracks in his voice and pushes right through it. And I'm thinking, good. It's not a big deal. Everybody cracks sometimes, and it's really no big deal if you just keep pushing through, and that's exactly what he did. It sucks when you crack because you want a flawless performance and you have that little hiccup and it can get in your head, but he doesn't let it. Gives a great performance. Really beautiful tone here. Really well done. We have the Coldplay performance next, and it's for sure not live, and it's also for sure not one take. So it wasn't like pre-recorded live and then they mixed it and made it sound great. They for sure did multiple takes and then took the best parts of each take. Let's say the very first line, he did best on the third take, but the next line, he did best on the second take. They would take the first line from the third and the line from the second and mash it together. And if his lips didn't match up in the video take they chose, then they would go to the guitar, or they would go to a shot where you can't see him. So it's clear that they did maybe 3 or 4 takes, who knows how many takes, and then Frankensteined them. Just got the best of each take for the audio, made it sound great, edited, and put that video together, and then push play when Ryan said, here's Coldplay. Which is fine. I'm not mad at that. It was something I noticed and I wanted to let you guys know. Now we got the Mother's Day round. We got Casey Bishop singing Ironic.
It's like rain on your wedding day. It's a free ride when you've already paid. Good advice that you just didn't take. And who'd have thought it figures?
I hate this song. Hate it. I've always hated it. One of my least favorite songs of all time. I hate this song. But hearing her sing this song and seeing how much she loved it made me like it, which is crazy because I've always been very outspoken about how much I hate this song. And her performing it and loving it, and her stage presence was 10 out of 10. Totally relaxed, totally feeling it, putting an amazing vocal on it. She made me like it, which is probably the most impressive thing that happened all night. And the last note was crazy. The way that she makes these massive notes with such great control seems so easy, just like a breath, is absurd. She is so good. She's so good. I don't know if people realize how absurdly good she is. I said it before, I'll say it again. She is the best singer on the show. Next, we've got Chayce Beckham singing Mama, an original.
Yeah, I'll do anything I can for the lady who gave me my name. Just to know that it's not your fault.
This was a huge moment for me watching Chayce because I saw, oh, he's an original artist. Not like, oh wow, he can do that too, but oh, he's in a completely different world when he's singing original content versus covers. He can do covers because he's good. You could take an amazing guitar player and put him on bass guitar and he'll do well because he's an amazing guitar player and he can kind of get the hang of it. But he's really a guitar player at heart. That's Chayce. He can do covers because he's really good. He's a good singer and he's a good musician. But really, when you put him in original music, you go, oh, that's who we're watching. That's who the artist is. Totally different level. And not just that he's singing better and performing better, but holy cow, he wrote that. That's a beautiful song. It's great. And he wrote it, I think he said during Hollywood Week. He even had some notes that were off, just very clearly off. When he sang the word all, every time he went up, he was off. But I didn't care at all because it was so heartfelt. I was so involved. I was so into it. Those little imperfections in that case, I didn't mind it at all. It didn't make it better necessarily, but I had no issue with it in any way, shape, or form. This was a great performance. Goes to an entirely different level, singing his own music. Willie sings You Are So Beautiful. Holy crap.
You are so beautiful. Oh,
Phew.
to me.
Dang.
Can you see?
Dang it.
You're everything I've hoped for. You're everything I need.
Woo.
Oh,
Oh, dear Lord.
You're everything I need. Oh,
Jeez.
you are so beautiful.
That's sick.
To me, Mama, you're beautiful.
Nice.
To me.
Jeez Louise. This crushed me. Oh my gosh, this crushed me. I love the arrangement. I love just organ and then them making it scream at the end and the band and swells and how he sang on all of the chords. What makes it so special and so effective is there will be a non-diatonic chord. In other words, let's just call it a special chord. There are certain notes in the chord that make it special and make you turn your head and go, ooh, that's cool. What Willie does when those chords come, he sings a run, or he, as Lionel says, navigates the notes in such a way where he sings those special notes that makes those chords special. For example, in the song, there's one special chord, non-diatonic chord that goes, "You're everything I hope for. You're everything I need." This chord right here. See how special that is? Usually to go, "Everything I need." But making it major is special, right? That note that makes it special is this one, "Everything I need." And then he'll decide to sing a run, and one of the notes in the run to be that special note. So it really just highlights that harmony and that cool specialness, the non-diatonic nature of this chord. So he'll sing something like, "You're everything I need," just to trace this chord basically. And it's so musical. It's so sweet. He does it as good as anybody, not just on Idol, but period. And he murders this. Caleb Kennedy sings an original song as well.
Don't take time for granted. Life gets hard, but boy, you'll make it if you try. Oh, you don't know the time that you got left. That's what Mama said.
It's a great song. The lyrics are, he's 15 years old. They're great, but the older he gets and the more people he writes with, he's gonna get a lot better really, really, really fast. His instincts are fantastic. Melody, the chorus, and the feel of the whole song is really, really, really wonderful. He's in his element, similar to Chayce. One thing he does say, he said he's more of a songwriter than a singer. I do disagree with that. I think he's both. I think he's a great singer. Maybe that's his preference. Maybe he would rather be a songwriter and not be a big star. Or maybe he's just insecure about his voice and says stuff like that. But it's really not true. He's just as good of a singer as he is of a songwriter. Arthur Gunn sings Simple Man.
It'll be simple, kind of man. Oh, be something you love and understand. Oh.
This is another song that I don't like covered. The original is great. Every time I hear someone cover it, they're typically missing the note on the chorus. To be as simple, it almost always goes flat or yelly or just, I almost never like it done, except when Arthur sings it here. Does great. Again, same thing, consistent. You might say makes all the music sound the same, but I think he just makes it him, and he is wildly consistent. He's gonna give you the goods that he's got to give every single time. I also noticed that Arthur is a lot more energetic and outgoing in this episode compared to the last couple episodes. Maybe he watched the episodes back and saw like, man, I'm kind of coming across shy and unapproachable. Or maybe someone told him like, hey, you need to perk up a little bit. He really did. He showed that he was happy to be there and excited. He was kind of saying Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Whether that was natural or for the votes, I don't know. Don't really care. I just noticed that he was more energetic. Grace Kinstler sings When We Were Young.
It was just like a movie, just like a song. It's hard to admit that everything just takes me back to when you were there.
beautiful. She nailed 99% of this song. Nailed it. Had the pretty parts in the middle, had the big notes at the end, the one pivot note that was taking us to the big notes. Unfortunately, she completely missed. Like I said, when she goes big, 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 almost every time there's a note that she completely misses. She's got to get that dialed in somehow. But she smacked 99% of the song. Really strong. Just got to get that one note dialed in. And I'm not trying to push it here, but it's not that she's hitting a note and she's barely under or barely sharp. She hits a different note. It's not quite the note that works for the chord or the scale. And that's what she's got to get under control. If she gets that under control, we've got perfect performances from her, like the first one, like Fix You. What a beautiful song. I'm so glad she did Fix You. But I also think she was more comfortable to do Fix You and not do the big giant notes like she usually does because she knew that she was going to get to do that for this next one. The irony is the first performance with Fix You was better, but barely, because this was really good. Last we got Hunter Met singing The River.
Welcome to the river. No sense in wasting your precious time.
This was a song that his mom requested. It wasn't about his mom, I don't think, because it says things like break me and take your mind and stuff like that. I think his mom just really loves this song and asked for him to do it. And it was great. It was a good original. Again, in his element too. He's an artist. Really beautiful. He ended up cracking twice in this song. To crack once is like a oops, oh my gosh, let's push through. And then to crack twice really sucks as a performer. It happens to me all the time. And it sucks. It feels awful. And he did great at pushing right through it, making the audience forget it ever happened until idiots like me bring it up. But at the end, he was smiling. So anyone who thinks, wow, that was great, has it confirmed when he's smiling after the performance and goes, yeah, great, it was great. When someone looks defeated after the performance, if I thought they did great, but they look like they're defeated, then I'm thinking, oh, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they didn't do well. So that's another aspect of pushing through, is acting like you're happy at the end, whether you are or not. And he did a great job of this. He pushed through. Overall, it was a beautiful performance. And then we got the cuts. Last week, I called the 3 that got out. This week, I had no idea. I just called who I would pick if it was me. And the people I would pick to go out would be Caleb, just because I'm not a country fan. That really is mainly what it comes down to. Plus, vocally, if you compare him to everybody, he is a little bit on the bottom at this point in the show. We're at top 7, going into top 5. I would pick him, and then I'd pick Arthur. Because personally, I don't love that he's there either, and I'm worried that he could kind of flip the show and just get all the votes from last year. So I had him, and then here we are down to the end where it's Hunter and then Caleb and Arthur. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, please say Hunter, please say Hunter, please say Hunter. And they say Caleb. Caleb goes through. Caleb's surprised. Caleb's very surprised. I'm very surprised because he fell apart. And honestly, this was probably his worst showing. But as a Groove Crew member said in the Instant Reaction members only live chat last night, the country mob is strong. Caleb goes through. Arthur goes home, which I think is good for the show. I'm happy he got back on and got to sing and did great, represented himself very well. Now we don't have to worry about, was this an unfair advantage and he's the runner-up? Is he getting all the votes? We can put that whole conversation to bed, and it got Arthur some extra exposure. But Hunter, I think Hunter fans just slipped. I think they didn't think they had to vote for him. And I think all of Caleb Kennedy's fans thought we really got to vote for him. Everyone's talking about Hunter. Like Katie said, everyone's talking about Hunter. Like Ryan said, all my friends, when they're talking about who their favorites are, Hunter is always one of them. He's great looking. He's original. He does a really good job. Plays guitar. He does all the things. I thought he was going to go really far. I think everyone thought he would. This is a big shock, and it sucks. But there's only one episode left and then the finale. So he's not missing a lot. And honestly, they might sign him, but he's kind of on the cusp where they could let him go and him just be independent, which was my case after the show. I was not signed to 19 Entertainment. I was not signed to the contract, and I wouldn't have it any other way. If he would have won, obviously he would have been signed to the contract. If he would have gotten second, he probably would have got signed to the contract. Now, here's the big misconception. People think if you win, you get signed. If you don't win, you don't get signed for the American Idol contract. That's not actually true. They can sign anybody they want. So he's not out of the woods yet as far as being signed or unsigned, but it's probably the best spot he could have been to maybe leave the show as an independent artist, which for some people is the best, and for some people it's not the best. Some people need a big machine. I think he is one of those artists that can do very well independently. I hear he produces. He's a great writer. I think he could do it by himself independently. That's how I did it, and I loved it, and I'm still doing it that way. Sucks to see him go, but maybe this was the best thing for him in the long run. If you're watching this as a premiere, which I hope you are, go to my channel after this and click on the live stream that I'm going to be doing so we can continue the conversation. I'll answer as many questions as I possibly can, and we'll talk about all of our thoughts about Hunter, about Arthur, about Caleb, about Grace, about whatever you want. Next week we got Phineas. I don't know the theme. I should probably know the theme. I don't know the theme, but I'm looking forward to it. We got 5 people going down to, I don't know, probably 3, and then the finale. So we got 2 more of these episodes. I'll see you guys next week, Tuesday at 7 o'clock Central for the next video. You guys be great. See you then.